Hello my dear students, welcome to 6th virtual class in which we are continuing the topic called morphology of flowering plants. Today we are going to learn about the fruit and the seed. To start with, the first one, the fruit. Might have been seen the different number of fruits. Fruit is called as an post-fertilized ovary. It is commonly called post-fertilized ovary, where the ovary after fertilization will develop into a fruit which is enclosing the number of seeds inside. So this fruit which develop from the ovary proper, as we know in the pistil there are three regions: the bulbous version which is called as an ovary, which enclosing the number of ovules. If the fruit is developing from the ovary proper, such type of fruit which develop from ovary is called true fruit. While fruit is developing from the ovary wall layers, that is the tissues present in the ovary which will develop into fruit walls. So that fruit walls which is forming from the ovary, as we know the fruit is developing from ovary, the fruit walls which encloses the number of seeds inside, that walls are called pericarp. Let me define one simple fruit here. Like example, the fruit like mango, the drupe. In this, the outermost covering layer of the fruit which is called as epicarp. Inner to that there is a fleshy edible part of the fruit is called mesocarp. And inner to that the hard stony layer which is somewhat tough in nature. So this hard stony layer is called endocarp. Inside that endocarp there is a presence of seed inside. So this is what we called the seed inside. So these three layers together it is called pericarp. The pericarp is the fruit wall layers which provide protection to the fruit which enclosing the seed inside. So based on the nature of pericarp, if it retains the moisture content, water content, it is called fleshy fruit. After maturation, if it doesn't retain the water, then it is said to be dry fruit. So based on the amount of water or the moisture content which will be retained by the fruit after maturation, the fruits will be classified into dry fruit and fresh fruit. Similarly, if the fruit is not developing from ovary, like it may be pedicel or this thalamus region, will develop into fruit that is not from the ovary, other than the ovary. If any other part take up in the formation of fruit like pedicel or thalamus, such type of fruits are called false fruit. They are called false fruit, or also called pseudo fruit. Like example, we have cashew fruit or apple fruit which is developing from the thalamus region, which is developing into fruit like structure. It is called as a false fruit. So in almost all the cases, it is the product which is going to form after fertilization. But in some of the plants, fruits will develop without fertilization, where the ovary will directly develops into fruit, and in such type of fruits, seeds are not formed because the ovules will remain as such because there is no fertilization takes place. As a result, it will form an abortive seeds. or in other words, non-functional seeds. So such fruits which develops from the ovary but without fertilization is called parthenocarpic fruit. The fruit which develops without fertilization is called parthenocarpic fruit. Such fruits are usually without functional seeds or abortive seeds, or in other simple words, they are usually seedless varieties. So such type of fruits are called parthenocarpic fruit. So this is about the fruit which is a product from the ovary after fertilization. Okay, so next we'll pass on to seed. So there are two different types of seed, dicot seed and monocot seed. Well, the seed is nothing but the developed ovules, or in other words, seeds are the post-fertilized ovules. The ovules after fertilization, it develops into a structure called seeds. There are two different types of seeds under angiosperm. One is called monocotyledons and another called as an dicotyledon. The dicotyledons are also called as an non-albuminous seeds or non-endospermous seed, because at the end of maturation of the seeds after fertilization, while seeds develop, it will show the formation of endosperm. That is one of the product of double fertilization in angiosperm. But in case of dicot seed, while seed matures, it will utilize the entire endosperm. So endosperm is totally exhausted or used up. So there will be no traces of endosperm will be retained in a matured seeds. So such type of seeds are called non-albuminous or non-endospermous seed. Example, we are discussing about the bean. In a bean seed, the seed show two cotyledon, somewhat concave one side and convex at other side. Seed is covered over by the outermost covering layer or protecting layer called as in seed coat. Seed coat in angiospermic dicot seed showing two layers. Outermost layer which is colourful, which gives dark color to the seed, like we have green gram, green in color, black gram, black green color, or horse gram, reddish in color. So color of the seed is because of the outermost layer called testa. Inner to that, the thin membranous layer called tegmen. Together it is called seed coat, which provide protection to the seed in a covered condition. Towards the concave region, there is one whitish scar found towards the concave region. This whitish scar is called raphe. Towards the lower end of the raphe, there is a region called hilum. Whereas on the other end, there is a minute opening. What we found is called as an micropyle. It is called micropyle. So the raphe is the region which is going to connect to the placenta. So the seed which is enclosed within the seed coat, if you see the open view of the seed, dicotyledonous seed, it shows two cotyledons which are connected to each other at a region called epicotyle region. The two cotyledons are connected to each other at one region called epicotyle, and whereas the region where the two cotyledons are free is called hypocotyle. These are the two cotyledons which are enclosing as we are discussing about the dicotyledons. The word di means two. There are two cotyledons will found in a seed. That's why it is called cotyledons. There are two cotyledons which is present in a dicotyledon seed, which enclosing two leafy structure, small appendage, somewhat looks like a leaf-like structure, found towards the inner side, that is between the two cotyledon. So this structure is called plumule. It is commonly called plumule. Whereas toward the outer side there is a small outgrowth which is connecting to the plumule. This region is called radicle. It is the radicle which develops into root system after germination, whereas the plumule will form into shoot system developing from the two leafy appendages or structures still found between the two cotyledon. We can see in a side view of the seed also here, in an entire seed, we can come across with a small appendage, that is what we call radicle, found towards the micropylar end, which will emerge out from the seed while it is germinating. So the seeds which show the exhausted endosperm, so that's why it is called as an non-albuminous seed, or also called non-endospermous seed. So seed which is developing from the ovule, that is after fertilization, it is also called post-fertilized ovule. The ovule after fertilization develops into seed which is acting as a future plant, or it is also called future sporophyte. So this is called dicotyledonous seed, which possesses two cotyledons in it, which is covered over by the outermost covering layer, what we called as in seed coat. The seed coat which is made up of testa and tegmen, which enclosing the two cotyledons and also the radicle. The radicle and plumule, these together is called as embryo. The embryo will develop into the future plant. That's why the seed is commonly called as a future sporophyte, because radical part will give root system, whereas plumule give shoot system. Together it is called embryo, which develops into future plant. That's why it is called future sporophyte. So this is about dicotyledonous seed. Now we'll see the monocotyledonous seed. Monocotyledonous seed is also called endospermous seed or albuminous seed, because after maturation of the seed, here the seed will retain the maximum portion or major part of endosperm, like we have seen in maize or in rice, wheat, etc. The major part of the seed is enclosed by or retained by in the form of an endosperm. The whole seed is covered over by the thin membranous layer which covers the seed, commonly called as an hull, or the fruit is called as an caryopsis. Actually, here the monocot seed is itself is a fruit called caryopsis, which act as a seed. Like best example we have seen in maize. The maize seed is somewhat triangular shape, bearing the major part of the seed is endosperm. And even you have seen in rice grain, the major part of the rice grain is endosperm. So it is the endosperm which is covered over by the outermost layer called aleurone layer, enclosing the endosperm. Along with that, it shows one single shield-like structure, a plate-like structure, might have been observed in a maize or even in rice. There is a small whitish structure which will found. It is nothing but scutellum, which is called as an single cotyledon. As we know, monocots, name itself indicating mono, single, cotyledon. This is the cotyledon, one single cotyledon called scutellum. This scutellum bearing the plumule and radicle present within that, so which is going to develop into shoot and root system, that is going to see in a sectional view of the maize seed. If you observe the sectional view of the maize, it shows scutellum and flat plate-like structure here at one end. Then there is a layer which separates this with an endosperm called epithelium, and there is a thick layer called as an aleurone layer. The aleurone layer is the thick layer which is rich in protein called aleurone protein, which is going to enclose the nutritive tissue which is present, is called as an endosperm, covered over by aleurone layer which is rich in aleurone protein, and it is separated by the layer called epithelium. And in after that, the flat plate-like structure, what we call as in scutellum, one single cotyledon. This cotyledon is called scutellum, which is single cotyledon, showing the presence of plumule at one end and radicle at other end. It shows plumule and radicle. Plumule, which is going to develop into shoot system, and this is called radicle, which is together is called as an embryo, which is going to develop into the new plant. Plumule is protected by one protecting layers of tissue called coleoptile. It is called coleoptile, which is the tissue which is providing protection to the plumule part of an embryo in monocot seed, whereas the radical part is protected by the layers of tissue called coleorhizae. It is called coleorhizae, which will provide protection to the entire seed. That is, especially in the radical part is protected by coleorhizae, and plumule part is protected by coleoptile. So all these structures are found in one single shield-like structure called scutellum, which is nothing but single cotyledon, which enclosing the plumule, which is developing into shoot, radicle, which develops into root. So together, plumule and radicle is called as an embryo. So here, in case of monocot, as the seed after maturation retains the major portion of the seed is occupied by endosperm, the seed is said to be endospermous. It is also called endospermous seed, or also called albuminous seed. So this is about the monocot seed and dicot seed. Now with this background, we are going to learn about three angiospermic families. As we know, under angiosperm, there are hundreds of families like Solanaceae, Fabaceae, Asclepidaceae, Rutaceae. Similarly, under monocot, we have Poaceae or Asteraceae, Araceae, Liliaceae. There are a number of families. So, in your syllabus, you are going to learn about 3 families of angiosperm under this chapter. The first family is called as an Solanaceae family, which is also called tomato family or potato family. There are a number of plants which is coming under Solanaceae like tomato, potato, brinjal, tobacco, etc., which is coming under the family called Solanaceae. Okay, we will discuss one plant under that. Similarly, there is one more family called Fabaceae, which is again a dicot family, which is of commercial importance because Fabaceae bears number of commercial plant like all pulses. There is pulses yielding plants like pea, groundnut, gram, pea, beans, etc. All these plants are coming under the family called Fabaceae. Similarly, we have one more family coming under monocotyledons called Liliaceae family, which is commonly called lily family. The lily family or Liliaceae family includes onion, allium cepa, allium sativum, garlic, then lily flowers. There are a number of plants coming under the family Liliaceae. So these 3 families, Solanaceae, Fabaceae and Liliaceae, we shall discuss in your next class. In your practical also, you are going to learn about these 3 families, that is Solanaceae, Fabaceae and Liliaceae. So we shall discuss these 3 families in the next class, as well as the same families we will discuss under your practical classes also. Till then, be safe at home. Thank you. Have a good day.